If authors covered novels the way musicians cover songs, which covered novel would you be most excited to read?
Isaac Asimov covering Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, or vice versa, Douglas Adams covering Foundation. Ayn Rand's The Giving Tree.
50 Shades of Grey by Jane Austen.
King or Rowling write Game of Thrones. Mostly just because they know how to finish a damn book series without waiting until they die of diabetes. Edit, I'm aware their endings can be subpar. I'm aware that Rowling will ruin it 5 years from now by saying that Jon Snow is a pedo or something. But any ending is better than no ending.
Terry Pratchett's A Game of Thrones book series.
J.R.R. Tolkien's Harry Potter. I'd like to see his take on the expanded wizarding world and the greater depth he'd provide.
If Hemingway did War and Peace smiley face. Also, this should be a thing that novelists do.
Ayn Rand's Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants.
Aldous Huxley's version of Childhood's End.
The Bible is written by the following supergroup: Tolkien on the poems and songs, Mordecai Richler on the dialogue, Stephen King on the narrative, battle scenes written by Bernard Cornwell with special telling of Salome written by Oscar Wilde, and Margaret Atwood presents Lot's Tale.
Fuck man, I don't even know where to start. This is the most epic concept I can imagine.
Romeo and Juliet by Lemony Snicket. Asterisk, dear viewer, asterisk, asterisk, if you entered this play with the hopes of seeing a light comedy, you would be better off searching elsewhere. This story may begin like a light comedy, when Romeo and Juliet meet and dance at Masquerade Ball, but don't be mistaken. If you know anything about the Montagues and Capulets, then you will know that no friendship between them will last. Asterisk, asterisk, in fact, within these scenes, the couple must deal with the horrors of murderous in-laws, poisonous drinks, poetry, and mail arriving late. Asterisk, asterisk, I am bound to tell the story of these tragic events, but you are free to exit this theater and go to A Midsummer Night's Dream next week. Asterisk, asterisk, with all due respect, asterisk, Lemony Snicket. For pure ridiculousness, I'd kill to see how Jane Austen would tackle something like 50 Shades of Grey.
Star Trek writers' versions of all the Star Wars novels.
Chuck Palahniuk's The Princess Bride. The Maze Runner series by Philip Pullman. Pullman wrote his Dark Materials, a story about kids with actual adult themes. They even fucking kill God in it. If anyone could take the somewhat interesting premise that started The Maze Runner and actually turn it into something good, it would be him.
Neil Stephenson's Jurassic Park. The hacking bits would be way better and Muldoon would be replaced by the stock Neil Stephenson badass commando character, which would be kind of fun. Also, John Scalzi rewriting basically anything by Peter F. Hamilton.
Don Quixote de la Mancha by Cormac McCarthy.
Don DeLillo's The Da Vinci Code.
The Shining, Dr. Seuss edition.
You need to get some of these big-name authors on board to do these for charity.
Stephen King, Twilight.
Tom Clancy writes Lord of the Flies.
Cormac McCarthy's A Confederacy of Dunces.
Michael Crichton presents Rainbow Six. Or Tom Clancy presents Jurassic Park.
Cormac McCarthy's asterisk, The Giving Tree, or The Evening Sunset over Manhattan asterisk.
Bukowski's Catcher in the Rye.
Umberto Eco's version of The Club Dumas. Any classic by David Foster Wallace.
Kurt Vonnegut covering War of the Worlds.
The Bible by L. Ron Hubbard. Oh wait.
Iliad and Odyssey by George R.R. Martin. I had so many thoughts on this question. I think I'm just going for karma at this point.
I'm only halfway down, but seriously, no Gaiman's Dune or Stranger in a Strange Land?
Question mark. I want Peter F. Hamilton's cover of Star Wars.
Neil Gaiman's The Phantom Tollbooth. Oh, I forgot H.G. Wells' Lord of the Rings. It starts in the middle of the Rivendell Council and ends right as they enter Mount Doom.
I'd pick Stephen King's cover of Valley of the Dolls, Philip Roth's cover of Eat, Pray, Love, and Harry Crew's cover of Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
J.K. Rowling covers * 50 Shades of Grey, * full of kinky magic sex.
GRRM's version of the last season of Game of Thrones.
Percy Jackson and the Olympians by China Miéville.
The Notebook by Milan Kundera. Jesus Christ op, thank you so much for this.
George R.R. Martin does The Lord of the Rings. Each book is 800 pages long. We get viewpoints of all members of the Fellowship. More important characters die. More typical GRRM stuff.
Stephen King's The Bible.
E.L. James's version of Twilight. Terry Brooks's version of The Lord of the Rings. David Weber's version of Horatio Hornblower. Wait a minute, haven't read Brooks's, but Weber did a pretty good job.
Terry Pratchett's Harry Potter. Rip Terry.
A bit childish, but the monster at the end of this book by H.P. Lovecraft.
Philip K. Dick's Moby Dick. George R. R. Martin's lengthy descriptions of Hogwarts feasts.
A Song of Mice and Fire by Brian Jacques.
Till I only know like 5 different authors and one of them is Dr. Seuss.
Fight Club by Thomas Harris.
The Jungle Book, Upton Sinclair Jr. We're not that kind of jungle.
Catcher in the Rye by Hunter S. Thompson.
The autobiography of Malcolm X is told to Allen Ginsberg. Hunter S. Thompson's Heart of Darkness.
Agatha Christie does Game of Thrones.
The wife says she would take Edgar Allan Poe covers 50 Shades of Grey. I want an Edgar Allan Poe covers Harry Potter.
The Road, written by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. 100 Years of Solitude, written by Cormac McCarthy.
Kurt Vonnegut's cover of A Song of Ice and Fire. So it goes. So it goes. So it goes. So it goes. Here is a drawing of an asshole, Joffrey.jpg.
50 Shades of Grey by Drive, Seuss.
To Kill a Mockingbird by Tennessee Williams.
Douglas Adams' Slaughterhouse-Five.
The Great Gatsby, written by Virginia Woolf.
Roald Dahl covering Animal Farm by George Orwell.
Ready Player One by Stephen King.
Machiavelli's version of the Bible.
Mihail Bulgakov's Of Mice and Men is incredibly different.
Not a novel, but I'd love to read Apollo 13 retold by Andy Weir.
George R.R. Martin writes Bambi.
I'd be interested to read Voltaire's take on the Gilded Age.
Dr. Seuss' The Art of War.
Last one, I promise. Italo Calvino's The Shack. Dante's Inferno by Stephen King.
50 Shades of Grey by Stephen King.
Stephen King's rendition of Harry Potter.
R.L. Stein's The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Edit, author's last name spelling.
Stephen King covering House of Leaves. If we can include comic book authors and cartoonists, perhaps Hirohiko Araki to take on Calvin and Hobbes.
A Wrinkle in Time by Cormac McCarthy.
George R.R. Martin's version of Harry Potter.
Haruki Murakami doing Slaughterhouse-Five.
George Orwell, Atlas Shrugged.
Chuck Palahniuk covering Of Mice and Men would be intriguing.
Vonnegut's Star Wars.
my vote goes to Dostoevsky's take on Pride and Prejudice. Setting that novel in his Russia should be pure gold.
Asterisk To Kill a Mockingbird by Bret Easton Ellis. Asterisk Tom Sawyer by Mark Z. Danielewski. Asterisk The Canterbury Tales by Ogden Nash.
Morrissey's Sex Barrel Roll Book by P.G. Wodehouse.
GRRM's Ender's Game.
Stephen King's Where the Wild Things Are.
C.S. Lewis 50 Shades of Grey.
The Wealth of Nations rewritten by Michael Lewis. Lewis writes about finance better than anyone. He has a unique way of simplifying complicated financial problems while telling a compelling story. It would be great to hear him insult countries for their poor financial techniques before they knew how they should measure wealth.
Tolkien's The Bible.
Edgar Allan Poe's Captain Underpants.
On the Road by Aldous Huxley. Lord of the Flies by Roald Dahl.
The Martian by Jules Verne.
Lord of the Flies by the guy who writes Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Siddhartha by Hunter S. Thompson.
The Taming of the Shrew by Douglas Adams.
Kafka covers the Animorph series. Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events That Led to the Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire * by the late Edward Gibbons *.
Tolkien's rendition of the novelization of Toy Story.
Sylvia Plath's Perks of Being a Wallflower.
Dr. Seuss on the Communist Manifesto.
The Little Prince by Murakami Haruki.
The Art of the Deal by Vladimir Putin.
H.P. Lovecraft presents Jurassic Park. Ray Bradbury on the Hunger Games trilogy.
The Canterbury Tales, a graphic novel by Joss Whedon.
Terry Pratchett writing a Jack Reacher novel.
Tao Te Ching, George Carlin. Knowing who is a fucking moron is intelligence, knowing that you aren't a fucking moron is true wisdom. Those who know how life works do not speak. Those who speak are often cornhole-eating mouth breathers that deserve to be tossed into a volcano. A man with outward courage dares to die like a fucking idiot. A man with inner courage dares to live and watch that arrogant asshole get blown to smithereens. The wise man is one who knows that he still has to wipe his own ass like everyone else. A Clockwork Orange by Chuck Palahniuk.
Little House on the Prairie by William Faulkner. The Hobbit by Charles Bukowski.
I don't have an answer yet, but this is a great fucking question.
Hunter S. Thompson covering The Great Gatsby.
Neil Gaiman did a great mash-up of Lovecraft and Sherlock Holmes, A Study in Emerald.
H.P. Lovecraft's The Holy Bible.
J.K. Rowling's Matilda. I just think her style goes very well with dolls.
Clive Barker covering the Ender's Game with his own fantasy elements and deep elaborations thrown in. Douglas Adams 1984. Edit, thanks for my first gold, who would have thought this would blow up like that? Edit 2, I think I know what I will be doing tonight, watching Terry Gilliam's Brazil.
Neil Gaiman's The Jungle Book. Oh wait. Holy shit, this is a great question.
Howard Phillips Lovecraft presents The Queer Case of One Harold Potter. The book is 220 pages long and ends with Harry seeing Voldemort on the back of that guy's head, taking a gun from Hagrid, and blowing his own brains out.
Stephen King writes James and the Giant Peach.
Lord of the Rings by Cormac McCarthy. High fantasy violence and beautiful descriptions of Middle-earth.
Stephen King rewrites of horror classics like Frankenstein and Dracula. WPULD be interesting and likely an improvement.
Douglas Adams' version of the Narnia books. It'd be way better. Neil Gaiman's version of Outlander.
Patrick Rothfuss covers The Shadow of the Wind. Neil Gaiman's Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Brandon Sanderson's A Song of Ice and Fire.
Henry Miller covering Dangerous Liaisons.
Thomas Pynchon presents ** Eat, Pray, Love **.
Edgar Allan Poe, 1984. C.S. Lewis, The 120 Days of Sodom.
Harper Lee's A Song of Ice and Fire, because the ending is revealed in the first 3 sentences but we wouldn't know it.
I feel like Chuck Palahniuk could cover the hell out of Moby Dick for some reason.
Dr. Seuss version of Mein Kampf.
The Hunger Games by Douglas Adams.
Art of the Deal, but covered by actual Donald Trump with no ghostwriter or editor.
Green Eggs and Ham by Karl Marx.
Hemingway covering Paris Hilton's Confession of an Heiress.
Stephen King's Goosebumps.
Consider subscribing.